Yeah, I know. I'm like, I got this new, the phone didn't cost me anything because I have one of those phone plans where every 2 years I just keep paying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's free, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not like I paid $1,500 for the thing, but I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, oh man, maybe I need to get one of those iPhone 4s so you can't see like all the shit to my fucking hairline and everything else. They're ridiculous. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so if you're watching on YouTube, we should be in glorious high definition right now. So you can
That's
see
right.
every imperfection in Lee and I's faces.
That's right. We've switched platforms, which hopefully won't make a difference on the end user or on the end viewer. I think when we go to publish, I think that the way the cameras switch are a little bit different, but who cares? It's a little bit easier on this end. And we've got got this thing here. Check it out. It's like it's not plugged in because I don't know how to use it, but
What is like? Have you tried it though? No, you don't know.
no, there's an entire. I'll just see if I can hold this up for the camera. There's an entire mixing board here too with all these controls.
Damn.
I don't have any idea how any of this works. I mean, it would be cool to learn, but the thing is, like we were saying to Hero when we were talking about having her on, it's as of 6 months ago, the technology's like that, like the AI and just technology getting better like it usually does without AI. I mean, there's so much now that you don't need. All this stuff's kind of obsolete. I mean, I hate to say it for people who spent thousands of dollars on mixing boards, but I really think that we do okay with our. I mean, could it be better? Sure, but we do pretty good with our audio and our video just using what we had. So
We've had some pretty good feedback on our audio, I would say.
yeah. I don't think. I think when you could see us, it's different, and then when it goes to the audio version, it goes through a separate process. So anyway, I don't know. I'm excited about the new platform we're using Riverside in case they ever want to sponsor us.
Riverside.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know. We haven't recorded
Yeah, sorry,
aside from guests.
StreamYard.
Yeah, I know, and I still have them just because I paid through the end of the month. I'll get our stuff off of there, but they don't do editing. So like I was telling you, it's like record on StreamYard, download to this computer, upload to
Yeah.
Premiere Pro. When anybody who's used Premiere Pro, Adobe's great, but anybody who's used Premiere Pro or anything Adobe knows that it's not like you just open it up and it's easy to use. There's just like all
Sure.
these little controls. So there's that, and
It's the
then
pro shit.
yeah. I mean, look, in professionals, we are not, so I mean, we're middle of the road. I think we do pretty well with what we have, but we're not adding we're not producing the cable news shows or any John Wick movies here or anything like that. So I don't think we need to go to that. I don't think we've done just a regular show or regular recording in a while. We've had a series of great guests that we're getting ready to push out. Francis being one of them, and then a couple of others. And then we've got a packed schedule this month, so that'll be exciting. It's just a series of guests in different categories, different niches, different experiences, different. I hate the word journey because I use it every day with the writing, but different parts of their journey. Yeah.
Francis is big. Francis is big. I mean, I know there's a lot of TNC listeners on here. Probably 26 of our 27 subscribers.
Probably.
But so Francis runs that group of people learning copywriting. And Francis's own story is quite spectacular. I won't spoil too much of it now, but really, really interesting episode. Hell of a journey, as you say. And also Ben's journey is also a big one. Lots of trials and tribulations, low points, to now killing it, which is really awesome to see. And yeah, I mean, we've got some big guests coming up in the next couple of months. So really, really excited to get those on as well.
Yeah. I mean, considering what we've done so far, we've surpassed. I think this will actually be episode 21 or something like that, which apparently not many people make it to. The thought actually never has crossed our minds to not keep going, even if it's foolish. It was never even a thing. Like we never had like a milestone in mind, but we heard recently that that's like a big deal. But yeah, no, it's surprisingly
I actually spoke to someone today. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, did you? Yeah. What about the podcasting?
They want to start a podcast. So I'm going to give them some tips and advice, but
Yeah.
It's really cool when you hear someone say they want to start one. In fact, I have a friend in London who's been wanting to start one for a while as well, and I know they will do it. We're very lucky to be able to have the time to do it from our jobs, which is really cool. But yeah, when I hear, like today, hearing someone say they want to start it, awesome. Because honestly, it's fucking, there's so much potential in the space. As in, if you think of all the possible niches there are, like there's hardly any podcasts. Like there's actually so few. And probably because of that reason, most people just give up after the first 6, is it? And then after that, most people don't get past 20.
Yeah, I think that like the rule is like 3, 6, and then 20. And you know, aside from like we thoroughly enjoy, and we're not just saying this for the benefit of the cameras, but we really actually enjoy doing this. Like after we do this today, I'm gonna have energy for the rest of the day. I'm gonna feel like we accomplished something, even if we didn't talk about anything important. But like we mentioned in the beginning, it's like even if worst case, like this show doesn't help anybody, doesn't reach a lot of people, which I don't think we're on that trajectory. But if it didn't, it's a good I think we use the term video portfolio for like getting more clients or just building our own businesses or brands down the road. If somebody was like, hey, you know, why should I hire you to do X, Y, and Z? Like, well, you know, just so you know a little bit about me, my personality, and kind of some of the things that we've done. Here's an example. Here's an entire YouTube channel full of me talking about you name it. So it's, look, there's no downside other than the potential for negative attention down the road. But hey, you know, it's like Hormozy says, like if you could start all over with all like some of the public drama and like some people DMing, you know, like some of the trolls, if you could start all over again, would you be famous or whatever? And he's like, it was totally worth it. Like having the getting to be able to reach people, help people, earning the income is totally worth having just a few idiots chime in every now and again. And we're not to that point yet, but I think you see where I'm going with this. I think there's just no harm in it. Just give it a shot, you know. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, like we mentioned at the beginning, I'm sitting in this fancy room, but this thing's not plugged in. We've got a couple computers, and we're using our phones. And shout out to Riverside again for this awesome technology. So man, it's fucking great.
I think it leads nicely into the mission behind Soloventure, and it's something that we always had a direction in mind, and we haven't really made it concrete until quite recently. And in its simplicity, and we might come up with a better way of saying this, but we want to help people do what they want when they want. That's it. Most of the people are going to be freelancers, but there'll be people running their own businesses as well. We are lucky enough to be able to a certain degree, be able to do what we want when we want. And it's a privilege. However, a lot of people are able to get there with the right tools and advice and guidance. And it's a space for people not only to like hear our stuff and learn from us just from listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube. It's also the space, like you say, for people to come on and have a bit of a video portfolio. So like if you are someone growing your own business, you're freelancing, and you're able to come on a podcast like this, talk about what you do in more detail, like that's a really, really nice piece of collateral or whatever you want to call it that you can use in your communications with clients. Like, hey, I've just been on a podcast, even in your existing clients. Hey, I just went on a podcast to talk about this. You might be interested because I covered X, Y, and Z topics. And we love the fact that we can create that space for people. And we're essentially saying, hey, come on, we're going to ask you certain questions. And we like to allow people the opportunity to dictate some of the angles that we go down. So it's one of the questions we ask before people come on is kind of what's some of the angles you'd like us to cover. So they feel like the end product, which is essentially something that, Lee is editing and creating into this nice little package with a bow tie on top. You can kind of give that person and they can use it in their day-to-day business. So that's really cool, as well as the people that are just listening and getting the value from it.
Sure. Yeah, and it's nice too, like different levels. We've had everything from, Francis to, some people that we're planning on having on that have made it very, very far, but they're at different stages. One of them I work with now, James, I'll shout him out again. But he's kind of where we were like a year ago, which is really nice. It's nice to hear from those people too. And I think one of the advantages that we have is that we're we're not that far ahead of anybody else, if even at all. We're still working day jobs. We're still prospecting for clients. We're still fitting this. I mean, it's Saturday right now. We're recording this. We're still fitting it in. So it's not like we have all the answers, but it's nice, I think, that we're not so far removed from everybody. Like I know it's kind of cliche, but we've said like 6 months ago when we first started this whole thing, like we're kind of teaching and helping from a few steps ahead. Like we're not 10 years down the road. Like we're literally, after this, I have to go finish a video sales letter for somebody and then walk around a farmer's market with my girlfriend that I prefer not to do, but hopefully she doesn't want to. I'd rather go to the pub. But, like we're just living normal lives and we're working, and we're hoping to have people on the show that are kind of at all those different stages. Like some are just like thinking I want to be a freelancer and have some freedom, maybe. And again, it doesn't have to be, I want to travel the world and do all these crazy things and like, take selfies in Bali with fucking elephants and everything else. It doesn't have to be all that. I don't know. Elephants in Bali? Maybe it's elephants in
Surely,
Thailand. I don't know, whatever. But but it doesn't have to be all that. Maybe you're just working a
Manatees.
job. There's manatees where I'm at right now. Hence the steel shirt here. They're right down the street.
Come on, you've got to explain that shirt.
Well, this is a good story. So when I was like, God, I knew this was going to come out eventually.
I mean, you're wearing the shirt. What do you expect me to do? Just ignore it?
Yeah, well, I've got that. I've got this. I've got my computer cover here.
Yeah,
so,
you need to go into this, man.
Yeah. So in like 2008, I moved to Key West, which sounds awesome, but I was working for the government at the time, and I was making what I thought was decent money, and it was compared to most of
them. I've never been to the US. Probably a lot of people on here haven't been. What is Key West? Where is it?
So Key West is it's part of Florida. It's an island. It's the southernmost part of the U.S. It's essentially a tropical island. Like I've said before, we're fortunate over here that we've got deserts, mountains, forests, and then Florida, where I'm at now, it's kind of more of a tropical. I don't know what else to compare it to other than, like, for example, like Bali. When we were there, totally different vibe. Bali's awesome, but it's the same feel, same weather, same temperature, same trees, palm trees and all that shit.
There are elephants in Bali, by the way. I just checked.
Oh, okay, good. Because I saw elephants in Malaysian Kuala Lumpur, and I was like, shit, I hope there's elephants in Bali too. It's got to be there somewhere. There's monkeys and stuff, but yeah. So I moved to Key West, which is our tropical island or whatever you want to call it. And I promise I'm going somewhere with the manatees here. And I was 28 at the time. I was even far more immature than I am now. So I bought a stuffed manatee, like a little toy, at a bar. While I was drunk one night, I went into the gift shop, and I'm like, I'll take that thing. And I went back and I put it in my apartment. And every now and again, when I would have friends over or female tourists, I'm going to get myself in trouble again. But I would have we'd have sleepovers whenever yeah.
All right.
You have to cut this out. So yeah, so then but the consensus was like, oh my God, that's so cute. Manatees are so cute. Do you like these things? And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't know. I was just kind of drunk when I bought that thing. So then it turned into like, okay, I'm onto something here. So then I started buying more manatee artwork.
Onto something from that.
Yeah. I figured it out, right? I figured out. Yeah, I don't need to buy these women drinks. I can just have manatees everywhere. So I bought all these like manatee artwork.
One is cute, but I'm not going to lie. If they come back and they see 100 manatees in the living room, I think they're leaving.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a Netflix special about this guy. He's like murdering people. But I bought all these like manatee things, and then you can go online and you can adopt them. You can go to SaveTheManateeClub.org. It's real. You can go there and you can buy.
Go on, how many have you adopted?
A lot. They send you. I mean, you don't get them. You don't take them home. They're not in your bathtub or anything.
I know.
Yeah. So. But they send you the certificate, and then you can frame it and put it on the wall. So I'm like, this is great. So I had those things in my apartment. I had those things in my cubicle down at my office. And so it started off as a joke. And then a couple of years later, I ended up going, there's a festival here in Florida, not too far from, and Florida's a big state. So it takes like, if you were to drive from Key West to the next state, which is Georgia, I think it's like a 12-hour drive. It's far, maybe farther. But anyway, so there's a festival here not too far from where I'm at Lakeland right now, in Crystal River, called the Manatee Festival. And this is from the 35th annual one a couple of years back. So what started as a stupid bar joke in Key West fucking 20 years later, I'm spending money and going to this festival, and I'm like all involved with it now, and I'm like, making plans and booking rooms and everything else. So anyway, I try to go. I think I've been like 7 times, and every time I go, I buy a shirt. So anyway, it's not just a. Unfortunately, that's a long, stupid story. Instead of like I saw this somewhere and I bought it. It's about a 15-year arc of being a
Oh,
drunk
I much prefer
idiot.
your story.
Yeah, yeah. But I try to
So
go.
when you go to this festival, how did other people get into it? Because I assume they weren't all drunk and bought a soft toy
I
at 4
don't
in the
know what's
morning.
wrong. I don't know what's wrong with those people. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know because people get into it. There's like I'll pull the pictures up one of these days. There are people like in full costume, like
Wow,
wearing this
like
big.
cosplay.
Yeah. Not that extreme, but yeah, they have that on, and there's like live music. This little town, Crystal River, only has like one pub, but they have the streets all blocked off, barricaded with like beer tents and beer gardens and everything else. And people love that shit. Now it's an arts and crafts festival, so they're selling like other things other than manatee stuff, but it's mostly manatee. It's huge. It's huge, or at least it was.
We're gonna cut what I'm about to say because not because it's like bad or anything, but because I don't
Yeah.
think we want to reveal this. But dude, why don't you talk about writing in a niche? Like, why don't you make a manatee newsletter?
Yeah.
Dude, like,
Yeah.
who's doing that? Like, apply your email marketing knowledge to a newsletter about manatees. You
Yeah.
could kill it.
So we could actually keep this in because along those lines,
Sure.
like when I forget, I was in Vietnam or somewhere. It's funny when you travel so much now. It's like we remember things of where we were at the time. So now I know like what month it was. Like 6 months ago, we were in Vietnam. Um, there was an RV park, like those motorhome sprinter van type things that people travel around in. I'm
Yeah.
assuming they call them RVs over there. I don't know, but there's
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
RV park in Crystal River where this festival is, and they needed an email copywriter to send out a newsletter for them. And I reached out, and I even told them like they didn't want very much. Their fee was super low, meaning they weren't going to pay me much. And I was like, I'll fucking do it. I don't care. I need this. This is me. This is my. I didn't get it. I didn't
You
get it.
didn't
I
get
sent
it.
them all. I probably creeped him out because I sent him all these things. I'm like, look at here's me at the festival for 10 years in a row and everything else. But it's funny you say that though because that's not a bad idea. Maybe somebody needs to look into this. Yeah, because they just
Yeah,
had
I think if you set up a blog and optimize it for every single search around manatees, and then make a newsletter, and then monetize the newsletter.
Yeah. Well, I do own a couple domains, I think from
Of
my
course you
this
do.
is a this is a good thing yeah, this is actually this episode is going to be all over the place, but now that it's jogging memories too. We were talking about because we will have a newsletter, our own newsletter coming out soon. That'll be I promise we're not going to kill you with a bunch of stuff. It'll be nice to the point, all our thoughts and things that we're going through in the present. But I last year I thought I was going to be cool and write 2 newsletters at the same time, which lasted, I don't know, a month, I think. But anyway, because of that, I do own like Manatee.today or something like that. I own a bunch of stuff like that. To
Dude,
pull
I
those
think
back out again.
there's a bit of potential there because it's so niche, and there's obviously
Yeah,
demand for it. It's
yeah,
a
I
good point to
guess.
bring up. It's good to. I
Yeah,
mean, you're wearing a t-shirt for God's sake, so there's definitely demand.
yeah,
Um,
they're expensive too.
it's a good point to bring up actually. If you are someone with expertise in any area, there's an opportunity for you to monetize it via a newsletter. And I mean, you're going to need a landing page or a website. A website's ideally better because you have more space to kind of convince people to join and demonstrate your expertise to a degree for free before someone joins your newsletter. But essentially, we're both email marketers, and the reason we're email marketers, actually not the reason we're email marketers, but the reason email marketing is so big right now and has been kind of making a comeback is you essentially have direct contact with your customer
Mhm.
or your reader, and that's makes it a lot easier to sell versus ads, which are kind of like throwing a bit of cash out to an area. You're actually contacting someone directly via their email, obviously. So
Yeah.
brands love it because they have a great connection with their customers. It's also people are it's consensual, so like people are actually saying, "Hey, I actually want to receive your marketing." So people have generally more intent around any communications they receive. They're probably more likely to act on it in the first place, rather than being bombarded and annoyed with ads. But that's kind of like brand level. But if you're just someone that has even just an interest, maybe you're not even necessarily an expert, you could use things like social media or blogging to acquire readers, people interested in what you're also interested in, slash your added personality. So if it's like a YouTube channel, like someone, let's say you love manatees and you set up a YouTube channel about manatees, you will acquire people that are also interested in it and actually like listening to you talk about manatees. And then you would drive them to a newsletter where you can give more value or more insight, just something extra via the newsletter. Then, if you were to make any kind of product, so if you were to make Manatee t-shirts or a Manatee ebook, etc., you could then promote that any of those products via your newsletter. So it's a big opportunity if you have a skill set like that.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that I don't do a lot of email marketing now. I didn't. It's been a long time, but it's like the basis for everything that we do. First of all, everybody has an email address. Like, what does Tim Ferriss say? Like, everybody over the age of 12 has an email address. Not everybody has every social media platform, but everybody at least has one email address. So you can at least reach people that way. And the growth is slow. Like, we'll have some people on soon. Probably Rachel. I'll have Rachel Pilcher on soon, and she's done this several times. She started newsletters from zero. She's had like nobody subscribed and then built them up again. So there's a process there. It takes a little bit of patience. But yeah, I mean, worst case, for a while, you're just writing emails and they're only going to a few people. It's practice. It never hurts to practice writing emails, and you're getting content out there that you could go back and repurpose later also. But yeah, I think email marketing, that's kind of how I learned to do everything else, or email writing. Because if you can write an email, long or short form, you can almost write any other type of copy, because everything else I do, whether it's a landing page or ads or whatever, the email is the hardest part, like telling a story and writing out something for somebody. If you can do that, then most other forms of copywriting, albeit a little different in each category, I think is easier. I think the email writing is the hardest thing to start off with. I think, are you muted? I can't tell.
Fuck, yes, I was.
I was like, I hope we didn't drop audio.
You could have
I was like,
screwed me over. You could have just been like,
just sit here like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even remember where we were. Oh, we're talking about email marketing and how everybody's got an
Yeah.
address. Yeah.
One of the things people hesitate with is they're like, "Fuck, I'd have to build an email list of like hundreds of thousands of people to like make any money from it." And it doesn't actually have to be like that. You don't need even thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Like, there's an essay written by Kevin Kelly several years ago, which talks about 1,000 true fans. And the essence of the article or essay is you need far fewer fans than you think to, for example, make some good income out of the newsletter, because we are talking about turning a passion or expertise into a level of income. So you can help people through a very easy format and also monetize that list, so you can generate income from it to support your business. So you don't need so many people. You just need a few amount of people that are the right kind of people. It's quality over quantity. And that should help people take the leap, because you're not trying to, you're not going after some ungodly amount of people to join the list.
Yeah, it's like we were talking in the beginning about the podcasting thing. Like, we're not delusional. We knew that we could still be at one or two followers now, or one or two. Like, we've had like I think we hit like 1,000 something view, whatever. Like, we're hitting the metrics. Of course, we'd like to grow faster, because who wouldn't? But
Did we actually?
Yeah, it was a while ago, like 1,000
Oh,
views.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
and I
cool.
can't remember the hours. Yeah. So the metrics, and that's, we're probably should do a better job of checking the metrics, but that just goes to show you we're having so much fun doing this that even though we want growth and we want to do all these things, it's not something that keeps me up at night. Like I don't wake up every morning and like check the dashboard or anything because it's just not worth it. But yeah, like anything you do starting off, it's tough. Like just getting those first few out there, whether it's emails or videos or whatever, and it comes around. Like nobody starts unless you're already an influencer, you've got a million followers, but I don't know. It's not so bad. It's not so bad starting from zero. Just got to keep plugging along, and you're going to hit those days where like, why am I doing this? Is anybody reading this? And that's natural. Just like make it a point to get a routine and get it out there.
Yeah, I think Alex Hormozy drills the tone quite well. So, what would you be willing to do for 10 years, even if it didn't even make you any money? As in, like, if you enjoyed that much, then go for it. And I think we're pretty happy to even sit here for 5 years, and if it never takes off from a revenue perspective, like actually we just enjoy jumping on, and that's great because that's one example of being able to do what we want when we want to do it.
Yeah, when I'm like super old, I can at least watch myself. even if this doesn't get anywhere, I'm like, what did I used to look like back when I was eating 2 cookies every day from the bakery next door? So yeah, other than that,
what kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip. They got them. They're everywhere here. We got so much junk food here. Although we do have those new drugs coming out now, where everybody's losing weight with them. Those Ozempic and everything else.
Pills.
Yeah. I think it might still be in syringe in shot form, but it's all in the news over here. Yeah, there's so much going on. It gets buried a lot, obviously, with all the unfortunate stuff happening over in Israel. So, but it was a big story last week with our diet stuff because we can't exercise. God forbid, fucking Americans can't work out. Like, but if you give us a pill, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll take that.
Well, the food isn't the food one of the biggest issues? It's like
it's heavily heavily processed, and it's the cheap food, like we talked before about like the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Wendy's. I'm sure we've infected your country with all these things too, but all that cheap food
we've got Wendy's.
is easy to get. It's like $6. It's around the corner. If you want to go eat healthy, you have to buy it and cook it, and nobody it's just we know what we need to do, we just don't do it. And it's like, quite frankly, like now I'm like kind of getting hungry. I'm like, I wouldn't mind going to get something from the pub, so I'm going to do it.
That's the case, man. Everyone knows what they have to do. Like, you know what you have to do, but that's not the problem, and that's not.
It's not for lack of knowledge.
People look for when they ask for help. Like they know they are probably going to have to do some form of exercise, and they know they're probably going to have to do some form of eating less. They don't necessarily have to be at the same time, but like it's a psychological thing. And it's a lifestyle change rather than a quick fix.
Yeah, and it's never for lack of knowledge, and it goes for the fitness. It goes for what we're doing now. Like there's some days where I'm like, okay, what do we need to do next? Like I'm so scattered, and then I'll listen to some of the people that we listen to, and they're telling me things that I already know that I'm supposed to do, but it's just reinforcing and reinforcing. So it's like a cycle. Like all the knowledge I need to probably be pretty successful and live a good life is all in here. I just need to keep
probably already got it.
Hearing. Yeah, I just need to keep hearing it from other people,
And it's transitioning as much as possible into habits so you don't have to think about them and therefore use willpower, use it up. So it's hard. It's hard. And I think also being able to manage emotion and feeling is pretty critical in the sense that in the moment, impulse and feeling can make you be like, I just don't want to stretch tonight. Like you're about to go to bed and you should do the stretches. You don't feel like it, but you have to be like, I don't give a fuck what I feel right now. Like it doesn't matter. As in like myself in the morning will have wished I did the stretching. So do the stretching. But it's hard. There's some tough moments.
It's funny too, what I think is going to take a while. Like there's certain things I need to do. Like I'm thinking about what I have to accomplish before Monday. And in my mind, they're always longer. They always take longer than they're going to. I have to, like I said, I have to go finish a video sales letter. It'll probably take me 45 minutes to do what I need to do. But I'm thinking like, I don't even want to start. It's just human nature. Like you said with the stretching probably takes, I don't know, 3 minutes, maybe 5, and you're not even going to think about that time. But before you do it, you're like, oh, this is too much. It's
Yeah,
too much.
it's honestly, it can get frustrating. It can get frustrating because
Right.
there's two of you. There's the one inside that like wants all these things like long term, etc. And
Yeah.
there's you in the moment that is easy to manipulate with feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the key to marketing. It's the key to marketing. It works on all of us. I think like, I think especially some of us that do marketing or like work in the industry, like I'm susceptible to everything. Like I'll scrolling through Facebook, I'm like, oh, I need that. Or like I'll push, Amazon's got that one click buy thing. So it's all impulse. Like I have zero control over shit like that. So I don't know. But yeah, look, I've been struggling with this shit for I don't know, however long I can remember being conscious, probably since I was 2 or 3 years old, my first memories. It's never going to end. So, like you said, it's just a matter of building the habits, recognizing that I'm doing it, recognize you're doing it, then build a habit to get yourself out of it. You're not going to win against the human impulse to do dumb shit or do things that are not good for you. But you can build up habits and you can like try to work through that. I don't.
What's your remind me of your plans again? So you're in Mexico in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll be in Mexico November 3rd. I'm already scouting out locations where I can find a room that's got all these things that I don't use in it, all these fancy things. And in Mexico for most of the winter, probably back to the States in February or March. That's
Where in
undecided.
Mexico?
Playa del Carmen. So I was there once before for 5 months. Great spot. A lot of Canadians there go there to escape their winter. Mexico has a 6-month visa, so that's what like kind of
Yeah.
is the big draw. It makes a big difference. Is it? And that's an interesting thing too that I've been kicking around in my mind. Like, do I want to go back to the same place that I was? Because like the whole Nomad thing, aren't we supposed to be trying new things? And quite honestly, as soon as we booked Playa del Carmen, it was a huge relief. I'm like, oh, we're staying in a new apartment a few blocks from where we were before. I know where the stores are. I know where the coffee shops. I know where like to get my bottled water. Like all these little things that sound like silly, but it's like a huge relief. Like we could just show up now, and within 10 minutes we'll be down at one of our favorite restaurants. So like you get that rush and that energy and excitement from going to a new place and walking around and exploring. It's also like kind of like, oh, this is nice. We're going to go back to where we know people. So I like both. I like the exciting exploration part, but I also like the familiarity of kind of going back to the same spot. So it'll be fun.
Okay, I have a friend in California that keeps mentioning Mexico, and I keep looking at it. So if you're going to be there over the winter, I mean, flights.
It's warm. It's warm, and it's not raining. You start looking at flights
it's warm
now.
and it's not raining. Yeah, I am. I've literally got another tab open here. It's going to be like £500 to £700, which to fly across the world. If you think about it, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's like when we come to the Europe. It's like you coming back this way. Like you're super close to Spain. Like reference us anyway.
Yeah.
Mexico is like only like a 2-hour flight from where I'm at now. It's not far. But man, I tell you, just the visa, being able to be there for 6 months, the pricing is okay. The services are great. There's a nice gym that we were at before. It's just got everything you need. Like, and it's all walkable. It's all in this little zone. Like we only got a taxi. I think we got a taxi on a couple longer trips, but for basically 6 months, just walk over here to this store, walk over here to co-working. The gym's right over. You know what I mean? It's like it's all in one little neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Awesome. Keep me posted, and I'll keep looking at flights.
Yeah, that's great. That's
cool. I don't know what we want to call that. Now we got to end the episode.
Now we got to.
Thanks for listening. That was the most random show we've done. So if you loved it, great. If you didn't, see you later.
Yeah, sounds good, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Let me see if I can stop this thing here.
Oh God, that's